Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of Data Structures and Algorithm, CS211. I am Dr. Zishan Iqbal, Assistant Professor in Institute of Computing. Today is lecture number 21, in which we will talk about circular queues. Objectives of the lectures include why we need circular queues, describe the circular queues, application of circular queues in computer, representation of circular queues in computer memories using array, implementation of in-queue or insertion and dequeue deletion operation in circular queue. Today we will learn about circular queues and how to implement circular queues. In the last lectures of implementing queues using array, we have discussed a major drawback of memory wastage using simple or linear queues. To overcome that drawback, circular queues comes to concept. Let's discuss it again to remind it. Suppose I have defined n to 5 and integer of queue size to 5 and I have initialized two variables front and rear with -1 values. Suppose this is a queue and I have specified the size of array to 5 and in this queue I have called the following function as mentioned like inq2, inq9, inq5, inq3 and inq7. Queue will finally look like this by applying all these functions. Now in the previous slide, if you see that 2, 9, 5, 3 and 7 are added in the queue. Now if you again call the inQ function, it will show that the queue is full. Now after the inQ operation, if we call the dequeue operation, what will happen? Front value will be increased and it will point to 9. So 2 will become a garbage value. An array will be look like this. Now again if we call the enqueue function, it will again shows that queue is full because the inqueue definitions has if the rear has maximum -1 value, so the queue will be always full. As the rear is again pointing to max minus size index, that is 4. But we can see that we have the space and we can add another value, but it seems that memory is wasting. So we have to modify the queue to circular queue, ultimately modifying the inqueue and dequeue functions. To overcome the problem of memory wastage, we have to modify the inqueue and dequeue functions. For the inqueue function, in this case, we have to point the rear to first value again. Here we can see that front is equal to 1 and rear is equal to 0. So calling inqueue function will again add the new value to 0 index, resulting in saving the space which was being wasted previously. Although the technique of creating queue using array is quite easy, but there are some drawbacks of using this technique to implement a queue. Number one is memory wastage. The space of the array which is used to store queue elements can never be used again to store the elements of the queue, because the elements can only be inserted at front and the value of front might be so high that all the space before that can never be filled. The above figure shows how the memory space is wasted in the array representation of the queue. In the figure, a queue of size 10 having 3 elements is shown. The value of front variable is 5. Therefore, we cannot reinsert the value in the place of already deleted elements before the position of front. That much of space is wasted and can never be used in the future. Another drawback of array implementation is deciding the array size. One of the most common problems with the array implementation is the size of the array, which requires to be declared in advance. Due to the fact that the queue can be extended at runtime depending upon the problem, the extension in the array size is a time-taking process and almost impossible to be performed at runtime, since a lot of reallocation will take place. Due to this reason, we can declare the array large enough so that we can store q elements as enough as possible. But the main problem with this declaration is that the most of the array slots can never be reused again. It will again lead to memory wastage. In circular queue, deletion and insertion can be only performed at front and rear end respectively, as far as the linear queue is concerned. Consider the queue shown in the following figure. The queue shown in the above figure is completely filled and there cannot be inserted more elements due to the condition rear is equal to max minus 1 becomes true. However, if we delete two elements at the front end of the queue, we can still not insert any element since the condition rear is equal to minus 1 still holds. This is the main problem with the linear queue. Although we have space available in the array, but we cannot insert any more elements in the queue. This is simply the wastage of memory, and we need to overcome this problem. One of the solution of this problem is circular queue. In the circular queue, the first index comes after the last index. You can think of a circular queue as shown in the following figure. Circular queue will be full when front is equal to minus 1 and rear is equal to max minus 1. Implementation of circular queue is similar to that of a linear queue, only the logic part that is implemented in case of insertion and deletion is different from that in a linear queue. Remember, this is a logical way of thinking circular queue. The queue will be always in a linear working order. There are various applications of circular queue. Below we have some common real world example where circular queues are used. Computer controlled traffic signal system uses circular queues. CPU scheduling and memory management uses circular queues. In operating system, in page replacement algorithm, a circular list of pages is maintained, and when a page needs to be replaced, the page in front of the queue will be chosen to be removed from the queue. While insertion in circular queues, we have to check the three scenarios before adding any element in a queue. First, if rear plus 1 modulus x size is equal to front, means that the queue is full. Next, if rear is not equal to max minus 1, then rear will be incremented to modulus of maximum size. If front is not equal to 0 and rear is equal to max minus 1, that it means that queue is not full. Therefore, we have to set the value of rear to 0 and insert the new element there, means at 0 position. This is the algorithm to insert an element in a circular queue. We will simulate this step by step in the coming slide. In step 1, we can see that first of all we have to check the overflow condition. In step 2, if the queue is empty, we have to insert the new element as the first value. In else case, we have to apply rear is equal to rear plus 1 modulus max. So we will get the new value of rear. And in step 3, we have to add the new element into rear position of a queue by taking the val as argument in the function. Suppose we have 3 elements in a queue and we want to add another value. According to a circular queue, if last inserted value is at last position, new value will be added to the first index of the queue. So if we add 22, it will be added at 0 index. Adding another value 53 in the queue will add it on index number 1. So after 2 insertion, the queue will be as follows. Here we can see that the queue is full now. So to denote that condition, we can write it as rear plus 1 modulus max is equal to front. Currently front index is 2 and rear index is 1. By putting these values in the if condition, equation will be as follows. By calculating the equation, if condition will be true, so we have to print overflow, and directly we have to move to step 4 by exiting, as now further value cannot be added. Suppose we have a case where a queue is empty and we have front and rear both values are set to -1. In this case, first if condition in step 2 will be true, and we are going to insert the first value in the queue. In that case, we have to set the front and rear value to 0. Suppose we want to add 50 as the first value on that index 0. After the insertion, the queue will look like this. In this case, step 3 will be executed. So val value is 50 and rear value is 0. By setting the queue of 3 is equal to 50, the array will be like this. Suppose again we have a case where queue has 3 elements and front value is 2 and rear value is 4 as shown in the figure. In this case of else, if rear is equal to max -1 and front is not equal to 0 will be true, and we'll set the new rear to 0 position directly. Suppose we want to add 50 as the new value, control will move to step 3 and will set the queue of 0 is equal to 50. After the insertion process, the queue will be like this. Suppose we have a case where queue has 3 elements and front value is 0 and rear value is 2 as shown in the figure. And in almost all other cases except previous 3 discussed cases, rear will be set to rear plus 1 modulus max. By calculating this equation, it results in like this. Suppose we want to add 50 as the new value, control will move to step 3 and will set the queue of 3 is equal to 0. After the insertion, the queue will be like this. In algorithm to delete an element from a circular queue, we must check the following 3 conditions. Number 1, if front is equal to -1, then there are no values in the queue, and therefore this will be the case of an underflow condition. Number 2, if there is only one element in the queue, in this case the condition rear is equal to front holds, and therefore both are set to -1 and the queue is deleted completely. At number 3, we have to check if front is equal to max -1, then the value is deleted from the front end and the value of front is set to 0. Otherwise, the value of front is incremented by 1 every time and then delete the element at the front end. The pseudocode for the deletion algorithm for the circular queue is as follows. In step 1, we check for underflow. If front is equal to -1, it implies that there are no values in the queue and this will be treated as underflow condition. The algorithm will write underflow and will move to step 4 by exiting. In step 2, we have to temporarily store the value of queue front to a variable called val. Algorithm will move to step 3. The condition if front is equal to rear implies that there is only one value in the queue. So we have to set the front is equal front and rear to -1 by completely deleting the circular queue. In else portion, we can see that if front is equal to max 1 is true, then we have to set the front value to 0 and the value is deleted from the front end. Otherwise, in rest of the cases, we have to simply increment the front value by 1 and delete the element at the front end. While simulating the algorithm to delete an element from a circular queue, consider a situation where we have no values in the queue. Here we will have front is equal to -1 and rear is equal to -1. In this case, the first if condition in step 1 will be true. Algorithm will write underflow and control will go to step 4 by exiting the function as value cannot be deleted from an empty queue. Suppose we have a case where queue contains only single values as displayed in the figure. As we can see that the queue only contains 51 as their single value. In this case, front and rear both have the same value as of now, which is 2. We will start by executing step 2. We will temporarily set the value of queue front in the variable val in step 2. In the third step, if condition in step 3, if front is equal to rear will be true. So it will set the front and rear both value to -1. As we want to delete the only value in the queue, to show queue empty and front and rear will be assigned -1. After that, algorithm will move to step 4 by exiting the function. After the deletion process, the queue will be like this. Suppose we have a situation where the queue contains 4 elements as displayed in this figure. In this case, front value is 4, which is max -1, and rear value is 2. We will temporarily set the value of queue front in the variable val in step 2. In step 3, else if front is equal to max -1 will be true here. So we will set the front value to 0. Rest in all other cases, the front value will be increased by 1 as we have mentioned in last else of the step 3. Afterwards, algorithm will go to step 4 by exiting the function. After the deletion, the queue will look like this. This is basically the graphical representation of a circular queue. First of all, we can see that in queue 14 is called. So 14 will be added and front and rear have the same value 14. In next, in queue 22 is called. So 22 will be added as the next value and rear will be moved to 22. Next, NQ 30 implies, so the rear will be moved to 13. After the NQ -6, rear will be again shifted to -6 position. Next we can see that DQ is called. By DQing, the first value will be deleted. So 14 is deleted and front will be moved to 22. Next, for DQ, 22 is deleted and the front will be shifted to 13. Next we have called NQ9. So 9 will be added as the new value and rear will be moved from -6 to 9. Next, the NQ is again called as 20 in the argument. So 20 will be added and the rear will be 20. And the front is here we can see that 13. Last we can see that NQ5 is called. So 5 will be added again and rear will be moved to 5 from 20. Here we can see that finally front have 13 value as the index position and rear have 5 index position. In the end, I want to thank you all. You can ask any question on the KCMS platform directly.